Hello, MMAMotion.net. Joining me now is a UFC fighter coming in to fight in the future event, UFC 226, and in the prelims at Fox Sports 1. Max Payne Griffin, thank you for joining me.
What's happening? How's it going?
Oh, going good, going good. So, I just wanted to get your initial thoughts of just preparation. How have you been going through the process of this upcoming fight?
It's good, we always train hard. We always train well. And also we train for our specific opponents. You can't beat everybody the same way. Um, Everyone's different. I mean, you can beat everyone the same way, but to beat everyone the easiest way as possible with the less resistance, you need to make adjustments for opponents, height, style. And we've done that, you know. Um, Made a few adjustments, brought some guys in, changed a few things, and we're gonna get the W.
All right, that's amazing. So, now for 227 prelims, 226 prelims, sorry. So, there it was an interesting opportunity. It's I've noticed it was the same thing for Overeem and Curtis Blades, in the sense that um, although some people are mixed with the kind of venue that FS1 has, it has opened the door for popularity among UFC fighters by being shown up for free for the casual audience to see what is coming up, what's the upcoming talent, and basically what is to come for the pay per view. So tell me, what are your thoughts of the FS1 showing up for your fight for this event?
It's a blessing, man. I mean, this is the biggest fight of the year, UFC 226, and for me to kick off the prelims or the prelims on Fox Sports One, everyone can watch Fox Sports One. It's at every bar, everyone's house. So I mean, it gets millions of views. So it's an honor. Everyone's going to be tuning in. Even most people. I mean, some people can't watch the pay per view, but they'll be watching. The prelims. So it's a blessing, man, to be the first fight that people see. I'm gonna kick the show off right and be about that action.
Yeah, yeah, especially with the fights you've had up to this point. Um, how do you see yourself probably getting up to the pay per views up to this point, or possibly just keeping your name out there so you could feature in either more featured UFC events, or possibly getting to the pay per view card itself?
It's good, man. I think I'm close. I mean, my first fight ever for the UFC was on UFC 202, which was the Nate Diaz Conor McGregor rematch. So that was my first taste of the UFC. They put me on a huge card. I didn't realize the magnitude of that card until I've been fighting these other cards and other shows. That show was major. So I fought on that. That was on Fight Pass
Right.
for me anyway. And then my next fight was in Mexico. That was on Fox Sports One. Awesome. My next fight was on Fox Sports One. Awesome. I've been off Fight Pass,
Mm-hmm.
and my last fight was on Fox,
Right.
on Simpsons Fox, where I beat Mike Perry
Mm-hmm.
on the main card. So I mean, stepping up and season opportunities, doing well, and now I'm kicking off there were so many fighters on this card, so many good fights. I thought I'd be on the bottom. I was like, oh, there's no way I thought I'd be on Fight Pass for sure by just who's on the card.
Right.
But there's three fights on Fight Pass before me, and I'm kicking off the show, man. It's a blessing, and it's worldwide. It's like they're putting me in these positions to shine, and I'm gonna keep shining.
All right. That's great. Yeah. And now to talk about your match. Yeah, I saw in some interviews that you weren't. All right, taken too kindly to Curtis Millender, specifically because of his affinity for calling people out. Is it specifically the calling out culture that you don't like, or is it just something with him personally?
Maybe the calling out culture. I feel like he's been biting at my ankles for like months, dude. Like I haven't heard of him really until he beat Thiago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Look, I've seen he has some head kick wins or whatnot, but I don't know why he wants to fight me. There's so many guys. There's so many guys out there. There's like 60, 70 welterweights,
Mm-hmm.
And he jumped on it right after I beat Mike Perry. We
Mm-hmm.
should fight. We should fight. We should fight. I'm looking at it like, who is this guy? Like, what? This is my fourth fight. I just beat Mike Perry. And he's just trying to. I put my time in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just wants to call me out. You think I'm just gonna fight you because you call me out? Like, no. But he made enough noise and whatnot. Put us on the card, so he gets his wish. I don't know why he wants to fight me. Honestly, just stylistically for him, it's a bad matchup. So um, he's gonna get his wish.
Yeah, so I guess a broader question. Yeah, is the call out culture something that, yeah, even though it's kind of like something you spite, is it a maybe a necessary evil, or you kind of understand I guess where he's coming from?
I've never been the guy to piggyback off other people.
Got it.
That's not my style.
Mm.
I've never been a guy that just. I've never been the guy to call people out. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
try to get fights. In my career, even as an amateur and pro before UFC, I was always like the champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess people always wanted to fight me and shit. But I've never, maybe because I've had that mind state for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
of being a champion. Like I never had to call anyone out. I never did once. I've never been like, oh, we need to fight. You know what I mean? It's always people coming after me. I had the big target on my back, and I just don't like it. He's a cocky dude. He was saying how, he's been calling me out for years. I think it's more than just a call out. He's been calling me out for years.
Hmm.
I haven't had one message, one email, one phone call, one message on Instagram, Facebook, Snap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you been calling me out for years? Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Be real about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I've just heard about you 4 months ago, like, how you been calling me out for 3 years?
Yeah. That's an interesting point.
That's what I don't like. He's lying.
Yeah. I see.
He is.
Mm-hmm. So, with the unfortunate circumstance of having to now acknowledge Millender, what are your thoughts about him once you started analyzing what he's about for this fight?
I'm gonna make him pay for this.
Mm.
I'm gonna make him pay for this. I don't like him. I don't like his cocky attitude. He tried to showboat in there, and I'm gonna capitalize on a lot of his weaknesses that I believe he has. He's good. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's good at this level.
Right.
But it's gonna be a bad night for him.
Right. And I've seen a couple of his fights. It seems like they're kind of, I guess, seeing him within the hardcore circles, and sometimes maybe in the UFC fans as like a swift up and comer. So, what were your thoughts about him when you first saw him?
He was pretty good.
Mm.
I wasn't like, oh my god, look at this guy. I was like, he's good. He beat Thiago, but Thiago's old, man.
Yeah.
Thiago hasn't fought in almost 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just stylistically, it's just a bad matchup for Thiago. And Thiago wasn't even losing that fight, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that fight, it was pretty even. And he was already getting kind of tired. Curtis was. And then he caught Thiago with a knee while Thiago's hands were at his waist, in range, just standing there like a sitting duck,
Right.
and then he knees him out of the blue. It wasn't lucky, but it looked lucky. It didn't look like he was setting it up, and he just took advantage of a big mistake that Thiago made.
Right.
You can't stand in front of an opponent with your hands down, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
and then especially a tall opponent. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. So he landed that knee, and I mean, like I'm glad I gave him this confidence he has. It's
Right.
good for me.
Gotcha. So, I guess looking ahead of this fight, after you take care of this fight and this particular event, the prelims, what would you see is I guess the next step for you after this event?
And my goal was to be ranked.
Mm-hmm.
My goal in 2015 is to be ranked. I'm number 20 right now.
Mm.
I don't know if it's gonna boost my rankings because I'm ranked higher than him.
Right.
Curtis is like 40. I don't even know what Curtis is.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's not 20. 20. I know he's not 19, 18, 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just want to beat him. I will beat him. And then we'll see. I think the fans will choose who want me to fight this next time. If I'm going to beat him, on everyone's going to be watching this card. Everybody. I
Right.
mean, everyone. So everyone's going to see, like, we want Max to fight, blah, blah, blah. That's how it's going to go. I'm not calling anyone out. There's no one I'm looking at or aiming for.
Right.
I just want to climb this ladder, be the champion. So I just got to win these fights and, keep boosting up my ranking.
Gotcha. So, looking at the main card for 226, did you have time to, I guess, look at it and I guess give your predictions on how each fight might go?
I can.
Hmm. So I guess what are your thoughts on each fight and I guess what are your predictions?
All right, so where we fight we starting with? We going the bottom up, top, bottom. I don't even have the card in front of me.
I know one of them is Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, man, I'm going. That's gonna be a crazy fight, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even think I've even thought about the winner of that. I'd probably go with Francis. Um, I think he has more cardio, and I think he learned a lot from the fight with Stipe.
Right.
Those tough fights that you lose, you learn a lot from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for Francis to take this one.
Right. And I believe the other fights including, let's see.
I know my boy Brian Ortega's fighting.
Yes, definitely.
T-City boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting Matt Holloway. I got to go with my homeboy, T-City, man. He's coming. No disrespect to Max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but Brian's my boy, man. He got the skills to pay the bills and striking. The jiu-jitsu is not fair. And his work ethic, man. He worked so hard. I stayed out with him for about a week and a half, about 2 months ago, just to train with them and Gracie guys and Black Belt Surfing and some of those guys down there, James and those guys. And it was a blessing. Just how hard he works, and he's a killer, bro.
Yeah.
So, John Tuck out there. It was good to spend a few days with those guys, and he's gonna do it sometime.
And I see, I'm pulling up the card now. I see Gokhan Saki versus Roundtree Jr. is going to be the opening match for this card.
Saki's good, man,
Yeah.
but I just don't know. About his where are we? I just don't know about his jiu-jitsu and everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think that if Khalil could like get him on the ground or something, he might have a shot. But
Right.
Saki's one of my favorite kickboxers of all time. I used to watch him do a K1, and he's bad.
Right.
He was one of my favorite strikers ever, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of wins. Like, if you don't know who Gokhan Saki is, watch his Gokhan Saki highlights.
I definitely know who he is. Yeah, he's
nasty,
amazing.
bro. Khalil better get down there. Get him on the ground.
Yeah.
Especially with the little gloves. I'm going Saki, man.
Gotcha.
He's a legend, dude.
All right.
I can't wait to meet him.
Okay. And for the last two matches, Michael Chiesa and Anthony Pettis, and finally the main event. So give me your.
I'm going Pettis. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he has more weapons. Chiesa's a good jiu-jitsu guy.
Right.
Got that good guillotine and stuff, but Pettis got ground game. I think he submitted someone that I was surprised he submitted a couple years ago. But yeah, his striking's nasty, and his jiu-jitsu's bad too. So I'm going Pettis.
Right.
Last but not least, right?
Yeah.
DC and Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
I like DC. DC is cool people, man. He's the homie, but I've never been right about Stipe ever.
Right.
At first, he never had anything like special, like he's like not average, but he didn't have anything that was like super good. But he's so well rounded,
Hmm.
tough, durable, and he knocks these fools out.
Yeah.
He's not flashy, but he gets it done. Like I counted him out for years. Like, oh no, that
Right.
fool beat Steve. I'm not saying anyone's gonna beat Steve, bro. I
Right.
learned my lesson. I learned my lesson for the last 5, 6 fights.
Right.
Straight up, I was like, oh, he could beat him, dude. I'm not betting against him.
Right.
I think Stipe is gonna get it done. He's bigger. He's no joke. You know, like I said, nothing stood out stylistically for me originally with him, but the proof is in the W's.
Right.
You know,
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. All right. So, all right. Oh, that's all. That wraps up everything. Any final thoughts before we part?
no man, thanks for having me out. Everybody tune in. Add me on Instagram, Max Payne MMA. Um, you know, add me on Facebook, Max Griffin, Max Payne Griffin. But check me out, man. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm ready to go. They're having me on the card for a reason. It's a blessing to be on here with these legends, these killers. It's amazing. It's where I belong. So I feel blessed that I'm on here, and I can't wait to do my thing. Take this guy out and go to work.
All right. Well, Max Griffin, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, it's quite late where I am, so thank you for taking the time to for this interview, and good
No
luck to your
worries.
match.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.